Let's hear it from the Asian Tom Cruz.
Okay, hi guys. So I'm Tom. I'm here with the band Hephalump. I'm with Mitch Mclaine, the lead vocalist, and Thomas Myles, their bassist. So our topic, if it's the lockdown will happen again, and you were given a chance to prepare, what are your three survival kits that you need to prepare musically in order for you to be sane during the lockdown, just to continue the music flowing, even if it's lockdown? So I have here Thomas and Mitch to discuss to you what are those three things for them in order for them to keep their mind sane and musically flowing. Hello, guys.
Hello?
Hey, thanks for having us on.
Yeah.
Thanks, Thomas. Yeah.
So I guess to answer your question, in terms of, I'd first kind of, before working out any kind of stuff that I need to make music, if we were locked down again for an extended period of time, so I'm kind of looking at it like this: you're going to have limited opportunity to talk and work with other people, because you're obviously limited to the people in your household. You have, less to none performance opportunities, and potentially less access to equipment depending on what you own, right? So I think the first thing that you want to do is set up your own goal. What's your goal? So if you've got all this time, some people, not myself, but some people have had extended amounts of time in relationship with lockdown. So if one of the things you have going for you in lockdown is time to work on things, I guess the important thing is to work out, what do you want to spend that time doing? What are you missing musically? So is that more practice time? Is that more writing time? Or is that more doing time? Like I guess I'd kind of call doing time either performing or recording or releasing or marketing or whatever it might be in that case. So the stuff that you need for each thing, there's some overlap, but a lot of that might be a lot different. Like I know I spent a lot of my time because I felt that without other people, writing became harder. With the extra time I did have because of lockdown, I was more inclined to practice technique or learn new things or put effort into discovering new things. So I guess
built that guitar as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Mitch just fully built a guitar.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was kind of just a project thing I did because I got, that's the thing, it kind of came from that research, is like I was looking at different things people did, and I was in a fortunate financial position where I wasn't affected so heavily by lockdown. So I thought I would spend some time and some money exploring a new area of music and getting familiar with that side of things. But I guess kind of for the majority of it, I think having access to, in my case, a laptop was really handy. Even though I spent the majority of the time working on just a guitar, sometimes with an amp, but usually just acoustic or just an electric guitar not plugged in, to practice some fundamentals I felt I was lacking on, and to learn some new techniques I could apply. So I think having that dedicated study time is really valuable. Maybe in terms of kind of the deeper way to look at things is I found it very struggling to write lyrics in particular when your life experience shrinks because of lockdown, right? Because you get into a routine of doing the same thing all the time, no matter whether it be, work, get up, clean house, all those kind of things, or whether because you have those less opportunities for chance and kind of unusual things happening, you lose a lot of inspiration in your natural environment. And I found that quite challenging in terms of writing lyrics, at least in the space. So I felt my time was a little bit better used refocusing on what I could do better with my playing and technique, because it's very easy these days, particularly with access to the internet, to look things up and learn things and all of that. I'd let Tom fill in a bit more on that.
Yeah, entirely. I think if you have a lot of spare time like one of the weird like good points of a lockdown is that you can use the internet to just learn more or just kind of discover stuff you wouldn't normally find.
So basically, one of your survival kit is a phone.
Yeah.
Or
So
if we're talking about internet access, I don't know. We were trying to turn this into like a desert island situation, but I don't know how relevant that analogy is there, because like who's listening to your music,
I guess that's a big thing to kind of put forward is like, would it be if I was in lockdown and I had time to prepare, and it was, say, a pre-internet age, I could have gotten books, I guess, or magazine or like whatever else you can learn from. But obviously, everything
you're in a
these days
modern
is
age, so
pale in comparison to something with internet access, whatever device works for you to do that from a learning side at least. So I guess there was that, and maybe it was just for some people it might be the reverse, but I feel because if you're in a house with a couple different people, because you have less, if everyone's home at the same time, you have to be a bit more respectful of those around you in terms of noise and time, because people have very different schedules in lockdown. Having an instrument that I can play quietly or without bothering too many people, at least at the most of the time I could, was really helpful. So I think, well, obviously you need hopefully you'd need your instrument, not that it would be impossible without it, but it depends on how out of your comfort zone you're willing to get, because if you're locked inside, you're also fighting against your own motivation to do anything, I guess, because leisure time is infinite, and when do you define work time and when do you define relax time?
Yeah, that's correct. How about you, Thomas? You agree with that?
Oh, he lost his audio. Mate, you're on mute.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Sorry about that. Because I was thinking, like, because personally me, because I do play bass in this band, but I would mostly playing the drums, and it's been like a challenge for me being able to like play that, I guess, during lockdown, because I don't want to like bother people, because it is like still quite noisy and annoying. Like, it's not like an electric guitar.
It will be a big noise.
For sure, yeah. But I was thinking more along the lines of like, just in terms of one thing that you'd want to stock up on, like, just like if you wanted a new instrument or something, it's probably the best time to buy it before you have before you can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, if that's the first.
So what's the perfect instrument for you? What's the perfect instrument for you? Acoustic guitar, or if you don't own anything? If you don't own anything and you have the money, what will you buy?
I'd probably buy like one of those fucking like Line 6 amps that I had, where it's like plug in your headphones and it has all the different amp models on it, so you don't need to buy like too many pedals or anything. Something you can plug in and not like bother people too much.
I mean, I think it really depends on your focus. Like I think, or like, being in the same house with Tom, I know vaguely what he's up to a lot of the time. In terms of music, and I think we both kind of well,
that's true, because you like hear each other jam, right?
And what we did do a lot of the time is, it seems to have been kind of more practicing. I know you were listening to a lot of 411 and kind of jamming. 311. I should get it right for the viewer listeners at home.
It is just a bunch of numbers.
Yeah, just numbers, man.
That was that band I kept putting on at the restaurant, Tom. Like everyone kept trying to turn off, like after like a couple of songs. I'm never gonna give up.
I liked it. It's good. Anyway,
so
I guess kind of maybe the alternative to that, depending on who you are, is instead of worrying so much about like planning and what you've got, it's kind of working with what's there, right? So some people can't play an instrument that is works in lockdown, or if you're a vocalist and you've got no one else, like what do you do? So kind of furthermore, like if you're a metal musician and you're trying to make music in lockdown and all you got's an acoustic guitar, that's not going to cut it really. I mean, maybe you want to take the time to switch directions. So I think kind of, the equipment to make whatever you want to make, particularly if you're focused on still producing, is really important. And to kind of go over that, we had maybe a little bit of limited success ourselves in terms of things only seem to roll through. But for the stuff that we did keep making as a group in lockdown, what was really invaluable was having access to, a microphone and an audio interface and, our own instruments. So I know Tom and I jammed out one of the songs we want to get working on after lockdown, and we recorded all the parts, and we didn't fuss over whether they were going to be recorded well or perfect or there was going to be mistakes in there. But what we were more trying to do is be able to keep working on things. So we recorded that and we sent it over to my drummer, who's since sent back the drum track for that. And we're still waiting on other tracks for people. Unfortunately, it seems to be a bit slow if you're not setting deadlines in terms of what's working, but that's kind of what worked for us in terms of making things better and ready to go. There was, or I'm hoping there still is, a plan to do recording run by a friend of ours in November. And that's like getting ready for that or losing the time of lockdown to collaborate on that as a group is quite difficult. So I feel like to get songs that we want to get finished in time for that done, having access to some basic recording equipment, even if it's not going to do good enough sound quality to put out, but just clear enough for other people to work with, some kind of music editing software, and preferably, I find, honestly, instead of good music recording software in a way, or like the best software, having something that's cheap and easy to access for everybody involved, so everybody's on the same platform, is really good. So it's a bit different because Tom and I live together, but when we're sending it off to other members of the band, even though I would prefer to use Ableton or Pro Tools or something to normally record, in this case, where I'm doing everything exclusively through Reaper, because I know that when I send it over, the guy on the other side can also get Reaper for $60 or, use the free trial or whatever. And then the next guy on can do it.
Yeah.
So it's just, so but like if you have Pro Tools, that's great. But it's a lot to ask every one of your one of your musical collaborators to have Pro Tools, which I think is the really nice benefit of compromising on cheaper software. Like worst case scenario, you do Audacity, but it's the idea is just to have something where everybody's on the same page. Rather than trying to finick between how to make things work in different workstations. I feel like when everybody's working on the same platform, it makes things a lot easier if you're trying to spread recordings around. Again, depending on your situation and where you're stuck in, recording might be a good idea, it might not be a good idea. I feel like in the space we're in, it's not a great idea because the rooms are terribly shaped. Like, we're never going to get a good sound in any of the rooms. I don't have the expensive equipment that I'd like to have. And often when we do record things as a band, even if we're using our own stuff, that having everybody kind of contribute parts to keep the cost of keeping everything in one spot down is really valuable, right? So not having access to the best stuff that we'd usually have access to as a group means that perhaps trying to record things is a little bit out of reach. But that really depends. If you were making electronic music, or if you're the kind of person that normally just makes music with a laptop anyway, then the effect might be quite minor and you might be more motivationally motivated or trying to work out how to collaborate with people over different platforms. Again, maybe it's time to learn something, as a backup to make sure that everybody has it and that it's working. I know at one point I did send something to our other guitarist, Patrick, and for the reasons that it was more convenient to send it over in like traditional music notation to make sure it was right than try and record it or send it as a voice memo to explain myself. And having like a quick, you could do that just by having a pencil and paper and writing it out. It would be quite time conducive, but having something like MuseScore to be able to notate things out quickly is really helpful if you have access to that. I find that can also be better if you're trying to work on, say, a vocal melody line and you need to keep track of exactly where you are. Like, recording's great. Mobile phone, voice memos, notes, they're all great. But there's still kind of a place for when you need accuracy and clarity to yourself on what you're doing. being able to write things in traditional notation is really helpful.
Yeah. So basically, for you, Mitch, it's like the internet, an instrument. Let's say, it's an acoustic guitar and a laptop.
Yeah, a laptop, couple softwares,
Yeah,
that's
with a couple
really
of
helpful.
softwares. Yeah.
I mean, beyond that, like maybe it comes from the fact that I personally like this folk music and country music and stuff that's really traditionally made on
country music, one of my favorites.
Yeah. But it's always made on like less
brought it up.
complicated setups, right? Like I don't not that I don't get the same bad habits as a lot of people do in terms of buying gear and amassing stuff. But
In our restaurant, I keep on playing country music. Some guy in here just like asking me, "Are you a Mitch? Why are you playing some kind of this shit music?"
Yeah,
I
happens.
remember that.
But I guess, I guess the point I'm trying to make about that is the benefit of that is that the instruments required, at minimum are quite easily accessible. Like that, you don't need an amp and a million pedals and blah blah blah. Like it's great to have them, but like end of the day, if I have something with strings on it, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Thomas? Can you say? You have something to say? Anything?
No, I think Mitch is pretty spot on. It's like basic is good at the end of the day. Like you don't need all these pedals, although he does have all these pedals. But like
it's true.
It is true. But I think I agree with most of that. It seems pretty good.
So for you, it's the internet as well, and
laptop,
your instrument, and the laptop.
I'd say that's pretty solid foundation. Yeah.
What's the instrument you're leaning to? The drum kit.
No, I still think like a guitar is probably more like lucrative in terms of like what you can do with it. I don't know. I feel like drums is good, but it's more dependent like on other people in some cases to really get the most out of it. Otherwise, you're kind of just playing by yourself a lot of the time, ordered to like CDs or something.
All right, then.
That's how I think.
Okay. So I'll wrap it up. Thank you so much, guys, and we have here the Hephalump Band. Maybe you guys can share your Instagram or Facebook where the people can check out on you guys.
Yeah, that's the right link. Just Hephalump, spell it right, HEPHALUMP.
No double F.
Pretty much the only result for everything. No double Fs.
Yeah, otherwise I end up with the Winnie the Pooh
band.
Yeah, like the shirt that you're wearing.
Yeah.
There you are. All right,
then. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much. Yeah, super fun.
Thank you so much, boys. Thank you. All right, then. I'll see you guys.